Welcome to another episode of Confessions Shadow Secrets, and thank you for joining us. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, comment your theories on your favorite story, and most importantly don't forget to like the video. Now without any further delay, let's get in the first story, which is titled I Got a Call at 2:49 a.m. It's my dead wife? It was 2:49 a.m. when my phone started vibrating on the nightstand. Half asleep, I reached for it, and my fingers blindly fumbling in the dark. But as soon as I saw the caller ID, my breath hitched. It was my wife. My hand trembled. My mind raced. This couldn't be happening. She had been dead for a week. I buried her myself. I saw the coffin lower into the ground. My chest tightened as cold sweat gathered at the nape of my neck. Maybe someone else had her phone? But that didn't make sense. Her phone was in my drawer. I had put it there after the funeral. Slowly, I turned my head toward the dresser. The drawer was still shut. The call ended. I sat there, heart hammering against my ribs, trying to convince myself it was just some sick joke or a glitch. Then, I heard it. Drip. A single drop of water echoed from the bathroom. Drip, drip. But wait, I fixed that tap this morning. There was no way it could be leaking again. My stomach twisted. I turned my head slowly, staring at the darkened bathroom doorway. The silence pressed down on me like a weight. Then my phone rang again. This time, it was a FaceTime call. No name, no number, just a blank screen. I hesitated but reached for the phone, my fingers hovering over the screen. But before I could answer, something caught my eye, the framed picture of me and my wife on my bedside table. It was gone. The call ended. A cold, suffocating dread filled the room. Every hair on my body stood on end. I gripped the sheets, my breath shallow, my mind screaming at me to run. But before I could even move, my gaze drifted to the corner of the room. And that's when I saw a shadow at the corner of the room near the bathroom gate. Oh dang, I saw her. A shadowed figure, crouched in the darkness, her ethereal shoulders trembling. Her face was buried into the wall, long, damp strands of hair sticking to her ghostly skin. She was weeping. The sound of her muffled weeping crawled and slithered. The sound slithered into my ears, each muffled sob a dagger slicing through the silence. My chest tightened. My breath hitched. My legs? I couldn't move. A paralyzing cold spread from my feet, creeping up my spine like fingers of ice. My muscles locked. My mind screamed, but my body was a prisoner to something greater, something I was seeing but can't believe. This wasn't fear anymore. This was pure, unfiltered dread. And then, something changed. The air in the room became thick. The shadow seemed to be deepened, stretching unnaturally across the walls. A strange pressure built in my ears, like I was sinking underwater. The light from my phone screen flickered, casting an erratic glow across the room. My breath came in short, panicked gasps. Then, her sobbing stopped. Silence, absolute and unnatural. My ears rang from the sudden absence of sound. My heart pounded in my chest like a war drum. The figure in the corner remained still, unmoving, as if frozen in time. But something was wrong. The shadows around her shifted, twisted. They pulsed like something was breathing within them. And then, a soft scraping noise. A slow, deliberate dragging sound, like nails running down the wooden floor. It was coming from behind me. I didn't dare turn around. Every instinct screamed at me to move, to flee, to escape whatever had crept into my room. My body was locked in place, but my mind was spiraling into panic. My vision blurred, spots dancing at the edges of my sight. Then, out of the corner of my eye, I saw it. The mirror on the dresser. It reflected the corner where she sat. But in the mirror, she wasn't crouched. She wasn't weeping. She was standing. And she was staring right at me. That was it. The final crack in my already fractured sanity. A strangled gasp escaped my lips as I lunged out of bed, stumbling towards the door. My limbs felt heavy, as if something unseen was clawing at me, trying to hold me back. The door. Just reached the door. My fingers grazed the doorknob, slick with sweat. I yanked at it desperately, but it wouldn't budge. The air behind me turned icy. My breath came out in ragged, frantic bursts. Then, the lights flickered, and the last thing I heard before everything went black was a whisper. A voice I knew too well, right against my ear. Why did you leave me? The END. Please leave a comment of your theories and thoughts on this story, and don't forget to like the video. The next story is titled Sleep Paralysis, Real Life Nightmare. For months, I've had what I thought was sleep paralysis. I'd wake up, totally conscious, but I couldn't move a muscle. It would last for a few minutes, and I'd just lie there, staring at the ceiling, trying to breathe through the panic until my body finally started working again. It happened maybe once or twice a month, always the same way. I never saw anything weird, no shadow people or hallucinations, just the total inability to move. My doctor said it was normal, just stress, bad sleep schedule, nothing to worry about. so I just dealt with it. A few weeks ago, I woke up again in the middle of one of these episodes. I couldn't turn my head, but I could see movement in my peripheral vision. Someone was standing next to my bed. Is this the sleep paralysis demon everyone talks about? I could feel the mattress shift as he leaned down. I wanted to scream, but my throat wouldn't work. Then he did something that I knew wasn't a demon hallucination. He reached out and brushed my hair back, slow and gentle. I must have blacked out because when I woke up, I could move again, and I was alone. The room was exactly how I'd left it, nothing missing, no signs of forced entry. I kept telling myself it was a really messed up dream, but I couldn't shake it. So, I set up my phone to record while I slept, just to prove to myself that nothing was happening. The next morning, I had 3 hours of footage of me sleeping. Normal. Then, right around 3:15 a.m., the screen lit up with movement. The door to my room opened. A man stepped inside. He walked up to my bed, stood over me for a long time, then pulled something from his pocket. He leaned down, did something near my face, then just stood there, watching me. I stopped the video. I was shaking so bad I almost dropped my phone. My brain was trying to find some kind of explanation that didn't mean what I knew it meant. I called the cops. They found a small puncture wound behind my ear. A toxicology report found traces of a paralytic agent in my system. The lock on my apartment door wasn't broken. There were no signs of forced entry. The police think he had a key. How long had he been doing this? Every time I thought I was waking up with sleep paralysis, it was actually him. He was in my room, watching me, touching me. They haven't caught him yet. The end. This last story is titled I Saw My Own Corpse Walking Through My House. I know I shouldn't be writing this. I should be running, but my legs are trembling so badly, I can barely stand. My hands are slick with sweat, making the keys slippery as I type. My phone is at 3%, and I need someone, anyone, to read this before it dies. This started 3 days ago. I was coming home from my night shift at the hospital. I'm a nurse. Long hours, little sleep. I've always brushed off the weird stuff, flickering lights, cold spots, probably just my sleep-deprived brain. But that night was different. When I pulled into my driveway, I saw the living room light was on. I was sure I'd turned it off before leaving. Still, I figured maybe I was wrong. Sleep-deprived mistakes. I walked in, tossed my keys on the counter, and froze. The front door was still locked. I moved through the house, turning on lights, checking every room. Nothing. No one. Just me, out of breath and shaking. I was about to convince myself I'd imagined it when I caught a glimpse of something in the hallway mirror. My reflection blinked too slowly. I stepped closer, and my reflection didn't move right away. I lifted my hand, and it lagged behind. Only by a fraction of a second, but enough for me to notice. I waved. It waved. A beat too late. I don't remember falling asleep that night, but when I woke up, there were muddy footprints leading from the front door to my bed. I live alone. I didn't go to work the next day. Instead, I stayed home, triple-checking that all the doors and windows were locked. By midnight, I was sitting on the couch with every light on, scrolling through Reddit and pretending I wasn't terrified. That's when I saw it. My bedroom door, barely cracked open, slowly swung shut. I stood. My throat felt like it was stuffed with cotton. I tiptoed to the door, hand shaking as I pushed it open. The room was empty. I let out a shaky breath and backed away, then bumped into something solid. I turned around. It was me. I was standing in the hallway, barefoot, wearing the same oversized shirt I was currently wearing. Same messy bun. Same tired eyes. My chest was rising and falling in time with my own breath. But it was smiling. I wasn't. The copy of me reached forward, placing a cold hand on my wrist. Her grip was almost affectionate. That's when I saw the nails. Black with dirt. The same dirt that had tracked across my bedroom floor. She didn't speak, just leaned in close, pressing her lips to my ear, and whispered, "You're in here now." And then she turned and walked away, disappearing into my bedroom. I ran. I didn't grab my phone or my keys. I just sprinted out of the house and didn't stop until I was several blocks away, barefoot and gasping for air. I didn't go home. I couldn't. I went to my friend's apartment and stayed there the next 2 nights, crashing on their couch. I didn't tell them. I didn't sleep. But tonight, I came back. I had to. I needed my phone, my wallet, my car. When I walked inside, the house was dark, quiet. I tiptoed through the rooms, grabbing my things, ready to leave. But as I was about to open the door, I heard footsteps coming from the bedroom. And then I saw her. She was standing at the end of the hallway, barefoot and smiling. Only this time, her face was rotting, gray skin peeling in places, hollow cheeks, sunken eyes, and she was holding my car keys. When I started to back away, she opened her mouth too wide, jaw cracking, skin splitting at the corners, and dropped the keys into her throat. She swallowed them. I ran. I slammed the front door behind me, but when I reached the street and turned back to look at the house, she was already at the window, watching me, smiling with my face. I'm typing this from the gas station a mile away. My feet are bleeding, my throat is raw, and I'm shaking so hard I can barely hold the phone. I'm afraid to go back, but I think it's too late, because when I looked into the station's bathroom mirror just now, my reflection didn't blink at all. Please comment on your favorite story and tell us your thoughts. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video for Of Confessions Shadow Secrets.